All right, Bob Slocum with Game Time Broadcasting here with Coach Moore. Game 10, we're on to Vandergrift this week. A lot on the line, but let's take a look last week. When we look at the Stony Point game, right, it was almost a tale of two teams, right? Rivalry game. They're 5 miles apart. First half, Stony Point, I know Troyer, quarterback, came out. I think he was 13 of 20, I think 268 yards, 5 touchdowns. We go into the half, I think they had 10 rushing yards. We go into the half, 38-38. We come out, they don't score again. I think they had 50 passing yards and maybe 20 or so rushing. What did that look like, and what were the adjustments? What were the conversations in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, like our first half was pretty uncharacteristic for our defense, for sure. I thought there are some things that we did that weren't us at all. Just silly mistakes. This or that, whatever. But just as far like we're talking about football X's and O's, there were some things that I thought that we can do defensively and still hold up to the run, but definitely help our secondary out a little bit more and get some of the guys covered that need to be covered, and but still kind of get the quarterback off his point. So we made those adjustments. We kind of put it in, but the biggest thing is like we went to halftime, reviewed some film, talked about this and that, and plain and simple, we told the kids is like, guys, we're doing things that are so out of the ordinary that like we're not even doing the fundamentals of what we've been taught like at freshman camp there 4 years ago that you're not doing right now. So let's hone in on getting our eyes right, make sure our feet are good, make sure that like we're going through our progressions the correct way, all that kind of thing, like back to like freshman camp type thinking. And let's make sure we do that stuff first before we feel like we have to make some sort of any kind of extravagant play or anything. And so that was kind of the main message over halftime, was just like back to fundamentals, be us, make sure that we get lined up correctly and our eyes are on that spot is mainly what we went back to.
From the booth, there not a lot. There's a couple of plays, got a little chippy on the field. Yeah. Again, I mentioned we're 5 miles apart. It's a rivalry game. Kids have grown up together. One of our models put a be real above the line. How do you keep the boys from getting into that? Yeah. Getting into, getting provoked, taking the second shot that gets seen, drawing the flag.
I mean, knock on wood, like, I think our kids have done a really good job, an exceptional job, I would say, even kind of keeping their cool this year. I think that there's been some times where it could have easily been a reactionary type situation, and they've done a pretty good job. But they are slowly maturing and understanding that is obviously not a retaliation. Is not what we need in certain critical moments of the game, because all it's doing is hurting the team. It's not necessarily you're getting your payback or anything like that. But we also encourage our guys, like, I mean, if you feel that way or you feel a certain type of way about whatever, like that needs to be done between the whistles. Like use that energy elsewhere, not after the whistle, or you're out on an island out in the middle of the field and you just kind of showing your butt a little bit. Like we're still not that way, and that goes back to the whole above the line.
Yeah. And I noticed that if a kid ever gets out of line, like during a sub-varsity game, you send them in. Like, you establish that early on.
Yeah, we're not going to put up with that. Like, if like when we celebrate, we encourage celebration, but we want them to celebrate with their teammates. It's not about me, the guy that caught the ball, or me that made that sack, or what. Like, have fun, enjoy it. Like, that's what it's all about. It's a game, but at the same time, do it with your teammates. It's a team sport. It's not something where the eyes are on you, right? So we encourage that, but also on the other end of that, you go and do something dumb, after the play that jeopardizes the situation in the game for our team and stuff. Sub-varsity guys, they've all been warned. Like every time they go out on the field, they understand, like, I do this, then this is what's going to happen. So like they just get sent to the locker room, or if we're an away game, we just kind of have them, not go back in, because even if they're not even ejected out of the game. Yeah, it's just that's just not how we roll.
I love it. No, I mean, you saw it. We saw it in the Monday Night Football game, right? With the Cowboys, game on the line, fourth quarter, marching down, big first down. George Pickens takes the ball and sticks it in the, symbolizing a first down, gets a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
No, totally get that. Two-part question. Now that you watch the tape, several days have gone by since Stony Point. A couple of players, coaches that really stood out, and what else in general stood out? So two-part question.
From the Stony Point game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, Coach Ramirez on the defensive side of the ball has done a really good job. And I think the reason why he's done a good job is because he's challenged kind of what we've done in the correct ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we've been running the same defense, for 6 years now, 7 years now. And like he's putting in his 2 cents and bringing, suggestions, but also at the same time, like challenging why do we do that? That kind of thing. And so what that does is that's just making the guys around him better. But he's coaching those kids really well. So seen a lot of good things from him. Offensively, I'll always give a bunch of credit to Coach Carter and what he does with the O-line. I would say, just guys that I've been around, I would probably put him in the top 5 guys that are, phenomenal game day adjustment coaches. Like he sees things a whole lot clearer than many guys do. And he already kind of has the adjustment in place. And the hardest thing about coaching is like, you can give all the suggestions you want, but is it something that we've repped? Mm-hmm. Is it something that our kids can do? Mm-hmm. And is it within what we do? Mm-hmm. Like, is it like, you might make a suggestion, but like, that's not even remotely close to what we do. Like, I mean, like if we're a wing T team and you're suggesting that we go spread, that's not us, Mm-hmm. So, but he understands that and he does a really good job suggesting, certain adjustments or whatever it may be throughout the game. It's within the framework of what we do, which is, in my mind, a great attribute as a coach.
Absolutely, and especially because we're celebrating Brady Cochran, Alex Cochran, Ryan Suetis with their running game.
Yeah.
And the unsung heroes are the men up front that are creating the holes for them to get through. Friday, off day for all the players, right? How does that change for something that's so regiment, such a routine?
Yeah.
What is that routine? What does it do to disrupt it or improve it? What changes? What do we do with it?
Yeah, and in those situations, we try to do our best to like maintain the routine. Mm-hmm. It is a little different, but a lot of our guys that have played have kind of been in the situation before because we've had random Fridays mm-hmm. off, last year and that kind of thing. So what we do is we actually bring them up pretty early. We try to get them up out of bed, so at least they have a thought of, hey, I got to get up early. I might need to go to bed early. And then we get them up early and we actually feed them. We'll feed them some, pancakes and bacon and eggs. And, but then usually when we get into our like in the period routine on a normal day is what we'll try to knock out in the morning. Mm-hmm. And so like we'll do breakfast and then we go into our 2 words character development that, I send out every Sunday to everybody in the program. We'll go over that this week because of its Salute to Sobers game. We actually have our honorary captain coming in and doing the 2 words for us, which would be really cool.
Do you disclose the 2 words? Is that something?
No, the 2 words is this week is speak loudly. So that's the 2 words this week. But the 2 words is through Stephen Mackey, mm-hmm. And we're pretty regimented with that too. But like I said, I send it out on Sports U every week to all the parents. Because there is a parents portion of it too. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, like I sent it out to our guys who's going to be our honorary captain, and he's an ex-military guy. He actually a round rock guy, did play football here. He was a quarterback in 88 or 87, graduated mm-hmm. in 88. His name is Charlie Cole. Is his last name? Charles Cole was a colonel in the Air Force Academy or in the Air Force. Went to the Air Force Academy, but so he'll come talk to the guys, kind of keep up with that military theme, mm-hmm. And then he'll talk to them. We'll kind of go through some more walkthroughs and that kind of thing. Then Alan Franz comes and talks, mm-hmm. And then we release them. And then our coaches have professional development. They got to go sit in, staff meetings and this and that. And then they'll come back and we'll go through our normal pregame routine with pregame meal. And, like I said, we try to do our best to keep it as, structured and all that kind of thing as possible. And I know that when I was playing, that the structure was good for me. It was a way for me to kind of stay in between the lines and make sure that I'm not, sleeping all day and, sleeping all morning, that kind of thing. It was just nice to kind of just get up and stay within what you're used to doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, it makes total sense. So Vandergrift, they're coming in now. 4-game win streak, including a big game against Hutto.
Yeah.
Number one in 25-6A
Mm-hmm.
and number one defense.
Yeah.
What does the tape tell you about them?
Yeah, I mean, Vandergrift is Vandergrift. Anybody that's kind of lived in the area or you've coached against Vandergrift, like they're going to be sound on offense. They're going to be able to, they're going to try to do their best to establish the run game. They just happen to have a really good receiving core and a great quarterback, so that's kind of a double whammy. But they're going to be steady on offense. They're going to be super aggressive, and they fly to the football on defense, and their special teams are going to be super solid. But Coach Sanders, it is what it is. Like, he does a phenomenal job over there. He's an established coach with a state championship underneath his belt now. He's a great job. Like, there's no I dotted or T crossed that he has not looked over twice, because you're not going to be able to fool him, right? There's no tricks and that kind of thing that they're going to get that you're going to get them with, because most of the time they've got it covered, or they just do a really good job coaching over there. A lot of respect to him and what he does with this crew.
So now, how about for our boys?
Yeah.
How do you, they're looking at defending state champions, coming in. How do you keep them confident, keep them up, and like, hey, we're every bit, we can compete here?
Yeah, and, I think our kids are ready to go. But I've said all this all year. Like, I really haven't really put my finger on what kind of group we have, because it was like we were young and inexperienced at the beginning of the year. Then we've shown that we can play really well, and then and also personality wise, like, we have some goofballs, we have some guys that are super intense, and we have some guys in between. And so I really can't it's a wide a wide variety of guys that are on our team. So I can't really put my finger on exactly our approach or all that kind of thing. We just kind of just stay as is and just worry about us most of the time. But I think that our kids are ready to play. I think they're ready to go and show out and have a great time on Friday night, and know that, hey, you know what, we are a good team, and we can go out here and compete with the best.
Awesome. So I'm going to come back to keys to the game for this week, but let's talk playoff scenarios. Okay. What does it look like for us to go through the dance?
Yeah. So it is what it is. If we take care of our business and do what we're supposed to do, we're in, no matter what. Now, if you want to get into the nitty gritty of all of it, if we win and McNeil loses, we're in. Let me back up. If no matter what, if McNeil loses, we're in.
Yeah.
Right. If we lose and McNeil wins, then we're out. But the unveiling of this earlier this week was, super motivational for us too. But like, if we win and McNeil wins, then we actually are the district champion by points.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, like I said, if we just take care of our business and play our game and do what we're supposed to do and control our own destiny and not rely on somebody else, then that's the message that we've been telling the kids. Like,
okay, so it's really simple. Just win.
Hey, just win. Just go out there and play our game and go play your game. Yeah, plain and simple.
That works for me. All right, keys to the game for this week.
Yeah, you just got to stay disciplined on both sides of the ball. Got to do a really good job of just maintaining possession on offense. Continually move the chains. Obviously, explosives are important, and explosives are, what we've kind of been doing all year offensively. But the biggest thing is like staying on schedule offensively. 4 yards ahead, and move the chains. Defensively is just keeping the ball in front, make sure that we don't allow any explosives, and we've got to stop the run. They do have, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but the number one, who wears the number one. He's a really good receiver. He kind of makes their whole offense go. He's kind of the go-to guy. He's, he reminds me of the old Miles Coleman kid that they had a couple of years ago. Like, he's kind of, and he also wore number one. So he kind of just makes them go. He's a really good athlete, but obviously their bell cow is their quarterback. Tedeki does a phenomenal job just operating their offense, staying kind of within what they do. And like, he's been in the scheme for however long. And so, and is a state championship quarterback. And so he's been on the big stage. He's, he knows what it takes to win, that kind of thing. So Just got to do a really good job of, holding up and make sure we build that wall and keep the ball in front of us. Special teams wise, just got to, it is like anything else. Like they're going to be steady. They're going to be solid. We've just got to counter that with being steady and being solid.
Excellent. So 4:30 to 6:30 tailgate party in the parking lot, 7 p.m. kickoff. Again, really a salute to veterans.
Yeah.
Right.
Salute to service. Yeah.
Salute to service. So thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
We'll talk to you
All
hopefully
right.
next Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever